Welcome to the weekend edition of the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's podcast, we feature all the best segments from this week's slate of Undisputed with in-depth interviews and discussions. We have a lot to talk about heading into Monday. Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. ESPN reports that Jason Witten will officially retire and join the Monday Night Football booth. Dallas will now be without both Des Bryant and Witten next season, and NFL.com ranked the Cowboys as the 22nd best team in the NFL in their latest power rankings. The Eagles were ranked first, and only 4 NFC teams were below the Cowboys. Shannon, do you agree with these rankings?
I do. I do agree with the rankings. It might be a little low, but I do believe the Cowboys basically what they're saying is that you look at what they have, what they lost, what they got in the draft, this is where they should be positioned. Well, so much for Jerry theory. That gap is not as wide as we previously thought. It's wider. That's what these rankings say. And Skip loves ranking, Joy. Skip loves some numbers. I mean, he's really a numbers guy for a guy that majored in English and loves Shakespeare. He really likes numbers. How you liking 22 or 32? You like that?
Is it my turn?
No, it's not your turn. I didn't ask you to speak, Skip.
You just asked me a question.
You just asked me a huge question.
You
asked me the question.
I asked you how you like that. You should have said, I like it or I don't like it. Not, is it my turn to speak?
I love it. Go ahead.
The Eagles deserve to be number one for the simple fact they're getting their best player back after winning the Super Bowl. Where they do that at, Skip? You win the Super Bowl and you get the best player of your team. You get him coming back.
No, that's debatable.
Yeah, there ain't no debating. You and I debating, but not about that topic. The Cowboys, they got, Allen Hurns. Really? He got Coney Ealy. Coney Ealy hasn't been good since Super Bowl 50. One sack in his last 15 games. Now, Carolina traded him. The Patriots gave him, a third rounder for him? Yep. And they cut him before the season even started. Yep. He was with the Jets. Let him go. So now he's with the Cowboys, and that's what y'all pinning y'all hopes on. So you lose Dez, maybe. Jason Witten, But you believe that Tyron Smith back is going to ever be the same? What about your guy?
Sean Lee?
Yeah.
Forever hurt?
So you coming in out the rain, huh? I like it, Skip. You starting to come around. You starting to see, you taking off those cowboy colored glasses where everything is like, wow, Utopia, look at those beautiful flowers. Oh, what a gorgeous day.
I'm objective about
No, you're not.
As opposed to LaShannon.
No, you're not objective about those Cowboys. 22nd. Maybe I'll put them at 20th. But, Skip, think about it. Look, Washington's behind them. The Giants are behind them. So it's not like they think the NFC East is a powerhouse other than the Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly.
So, I repeat, I love this. I love it that Jerry Jones is going to have to face up to the fact that NFL.com, the NFL's arm, right? The media arm of the NFL says the Dallas Cowboys have plummeted to 22nd in the National Football League. A year ago, they were, top five. A year ago, the Eagles were 15-ish, 20-ish, I don't know, somewhere in the middle of the pack, right? A year ago, nobody saw the Eagles coming, and I don't think anybody, certainly not me, saw the Cowboys plummeting to 22nd. You did not. You just said, well, I'll give them 20th.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you didn't see 22nd.
But I saw what was going to transpire last year. Because they had that thing swirling around with Zeke.
Okay. All right. I just hope this lands right on Jerry Jones' desk, and I hope it slaps him right in the face and wakes him up to the fact that he's been sitting on his hands the whole offseason.
Yeah.
All 3 other teams in the NFC East got a little to a lot better, and I'll go through them in just a second. But they all got a little to a lot better, and Dallas got worse. Dallas just had a yawner of a deflating draft, a letdown draft. I'm still
You're really out on that linebacker, aren't you?
The harder I look at Leighton Vander Esch from Boise State, he started 1 year, and everybody in the building fell in love. He's a great young man. Can he play? I don't know if he can play. Can he maybe cover? Is he a cover linebacker? I guess.
No.
Is he going to wreak havoc on the NFC East next year? I'm going to say no. Is he Roquan Smith of the Chicago Bears? I'm going to say no.
Not.
I'm going to say, what are you doing? Because The two key developments for the Dallas Cowboys, my Dallas Cowboys, through the offseason were both losses. No more Dez, no more Jason Witten. Aren't those the two big significant developments?
Yeah.
And I was great with Jerry having the fortitude to finally close his eyes and say, Dez, I'm sorry, we have to part ways, because I didn't think he had it in him.
Right.
He loved him like a son. He loved him to a fault. He spoiled him rotten. And he finally, thanks to Stephen Jones and Will McClay, the personnel director, they finally said, Jerry, wake up. He just can't play. He's more trouble than he's worth. And finally, Jerry, to his undying credit, said, I got to cut the cord here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm good with that. But your plan B is...
Nobody.
You don't have a plan B.
Or Allen Hurns, I guess.
I guess.
And what was it, Deontay Thompson?
Yes. That's like a plan Z. Okay. And Jason Witten, did they see this coming? No, probably not, because Jason was committed to playing at least one more year, if not two.
Right.
Is there a plan B? I'll get to a possible one in just a second. But this is Jerry Jones, who was always a step ahead. Mm-hmm. He has been a step late the whole offseason. Am I right?
Yes.
Because I read, reportedly, they were in the Sammy Derby, the Sammy Watkins Derby, who wound up in Kansas City. Mm-hmm. Does Jerry Jones not always get his man?
Right.
Do you remember, again, I'm going way back in time, but do you remember when he decided to go get Charles Haley, what happened? Yeah. He landed Charles Haley from the rival San Francisco 49ers.
What about that 2-1?
How about 2-1? Dion, that was the next 2 years later.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get that man.
Yes.
I don't care whatever it takes, I will get him. And he went and got Dion, and it changed life because the 49ers won with Dion 94, Cowboys won with Dion in 95. Okay, where's your Dion move? It feels like Jerry Jones is resting on his Hall of Fame laurels. Like I made it, I'm okay, and it's like he's trying to build a future dynasty.
Right.
For his grandchildren.
Right.
Like, I'm going to hand the ball to Steven and then the grandkids, and this is going to be, this is a team built for the long haul because we still have the best running back in football. And you do, as long as he stays eligible.
You know? Le'Veon's the best.
No,
okay.
he's the first best. Still have, in my book, a top 10 quarterback. Last year I would have said top 5, but I'll amend that to top 10 at this moment because he needs to reprove himself. He's a top 10.
No, he's not.
You still have 3 offensive linemen who just a year ago, thanks to NFL.com, were ranked by the players in the players poll in the top 25 of all players, not just offensive linemen. They did not play. They played like they're in the top 300. That's what they played like. Ty Smith could not stay healthy with his back. But you have multiple Pro Bowls for those 3 linemen. You have 5, 4, and 4 Pro Bowls for those 3 linemen. So those are building blocks, would you say?
Absolutely.
Dare I say building blocks? Now, reportedly, they were dancing with Seattle to land Earl Thomas.
Yes.
Earl Thomas is a Texan, born and raised in Orange, Texas, went to University of Texas, obviously a mid-first-round draft pick of the Seattle Seahawks and a multiple-time Pro Bowl.
He's the preeminent free safety in all of football.
Thank you. And he just came back because I thought he had a career-threatening broken fibula. Remember that? And he tweeted that he was thinking of retiring. But he bounced back last year, and he made another Pro Bowl, albeit for a kind of a mediocre football team that missed the playoffs. But he ran up the tunnel after that late season Dallas debacle of a loss at home to Seattle and grabbed Jason Garrett and said, what was the quote?
Come get me.
Come get me. Yeah, that was it. So reportedly, Seattle wanted Dallas's second-round pick for Earl Thomas. And Dallas said, no, we got to sit tight. And then Philly snakes up one pick ahead of them to take Dallas Goedert, who was the best pass-catching tight end in the draft, and now the next Zach Ertz is on Zach Ertz's team.
Yeah.
Well, is that why they wanted to sit still? Because then they take Connor Williams, the offensive lineman from Texas, and he had a terrible year last year. Had a really good year 2016. He was nowhere to be found 2017. Are you going to bet on that?
Is he going to start? Because the question you have to ask yourself, okay, they wanted your second-round pick. Will anybody that you select in the second round, will they be better than Earl Thomas this year and the subsequent years after?
Well, I don't know. You better be right.
That's my point. Because I believe Earl Thomas is the preeminent free safety in all of football.
He is scheduled to make about $10 million next year. And then, as he turns 30, he's going to want, I don't know, he's going to want a lot of money.
He's going to want Eric Berry type money.
Okay, you're going to give it to him as he goes into his 30, coming off his broken fibula? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yep.
But I just think the thing is that I do not believe the offensive lineman that they selected, Skip. I don't believe he'll give them the value that Earl Thomas would have brought to them this year.
Yeah, listen, you've been on teams where you look around the locker room and you say, I got that guy.
Right.
I got Ray Lewis.
Right.
I got Rod Woodson, right?
Right.
You're looking around. I got John Elway.
Right.
Well, if Earl Thomas walks in the locker room the first day of training camp, everybody looks around and thinks, we got a guy.
Yeah.
We got a real guy.
Got range.
Right.
I mean, you got young corners on the edges, Skip. So you got somebody that if they get beat, he can cover enough ground to make up plays for them. That's invaluable.
Okay.
But, you know, Jerry believes that Jerry believes what he believes, Skip. This is not the Jerry Jones. Normally, he, like you said, he plunges, he go gets a Charles Haley.
Yeah.
He go gets a Deion Sanders. He trades 2 first-round draft picks to go get Joey Galloway. He trades 2 first-round picks to go get Roy Williams. We've seen him make big moves.
And we've seen him swing and miss, but at least he's swinging.
Right.
Right?
Well, the best way to make sure you stay exactly where you are is to do exactly what you're doing. Do nothing. Because I don't believe they've done anything.
Okay, so now, quickly, we look at the Eagles. They go out, they are the Super Bowl champs, and they add Michael Bennett and Haloti Ngata to that rotation. That'll work. Darren Sproles says he's coming back, and that's the one guy when I used to root against the old Eagles that I always feared the most. He's going to be 35 years of age.
Right.
You know what? That's a guy I don't bet against.
Right.
I'll bet he'll be pretty good next year.
Right.
So will he give him a little more pop, a little something on third down? Maybe. They added Mike Wallace to give him a deep speed receiver. And then they go get Dallas Goedert in the draft.
Right.
So they're just loads. The rich got richer, correct?
Yeah.
The Giants go get Nate Solder from the Packers to shore up their left tackle. I mean, from the Patriots, and then they draft Saquon. Okay, did they get better? I think you'd have to say they got better. The Redskins are. I'm going to say it again. Alex Smith is a little better than Kirk Cousins. I'm just telling you he is. So they got Alex Smith. They had a really good draft because they got Deron Payne, who took over the championship game. Remember the Alabama?
Right. Oh, yeah.
He's a stud. And then they got Darius Geis, who had issues before the draft, but he fell into the second round. They got him.
Right.
You don't think he'll help them at running back?
Yeah, I believe it will.
They got better. We got worse. We got nowhere. The only thing I saw was a quote on ESPN.com yesterday, an insider anonymous quote that said, Dallas is sitting on Rico Gathers. Do you remember Rico Gathers?
Yeah.
The tight end who took over a couple of preseason games and looked like a monster. Basketball player out of Baylor, 6 feet 6 inches tall.
Yes.
Wears number 80. And one day I ran into a Fox executive here in the hallway who had been to Cowboys practice the day before. And you know what he told me?
What?
He said, who's number 80? I couldn't remember because I'm not great with the numbers.
Right.
He says, 80, I was out at practice. He had a terrible head injury and they had to call the ambulance for him. I'm like, really? I go check. And I'm not sure he's ever going to be quite right because it was one of those injuries that you don't come back from.
Right.
But it was back in February. He tweeted, I'm ready to become the best tight end in football. So can he be? That's about all I can pin my hopes on right now.
Well, he better, because you had an opportunity to go get tight end. And the thing is, it seems to me, Skip, the Cowboys wait till the car breaks down before they go think about getting another car.
Usually they're way ahead of the game. Now they're behind the game.
You wait till Jason Witten actually retires.
Yeah.
You're normally supposed to start planning this path before he actually retires. You're 14, maybe. It's like, you know what? I don't think Jason's going to play 20 years. Let me go ahead and get me a tight end so he can help transition me to this. Jason transition out of the game, and I got this guy that's been working with Jason into the game. They fell asleep at the wheel on this one.
So, Joy, I got one hope next year. Carson Wentz. I got one hope that it turns back into W-I-N-C-E, as in, Wentz, as in he can't take the pressure to step back in for the Super Bowl MVP. And if he does start the first game coming off his, what do you have, torn everything?
LCL and ACL.
ACL. What if in that home opener he throws a couple of picks? We want Foles. We want.
Is that what you hope? Is that your only hope?
Yeah.
You're hoping
because it's a quarterback's game, and you have you have issues at quarterback.
I don't care how many times you put Super Bowl MVP in front of Nick Foles' name. He's going back to the bench. Okay, so you can just stop trying to start trouble.
He's not your average backup quarterback.
That's okay.
You know what they always say? You don't want your backup quarterback to be a distraction. Isn't that what they say?
He's not a distraction.
Was he a one-hit wonder? No.
He's gonna be looking at that Microsoft Surface.
Who closed the game out against the Rams here in L.A.? Oh, it was Nick Foles, who beat Atlanta in the playoff game. Who torched the Minnesota Vikings' #1 ranked defense? Oh, it was Nick Foles. Who outplayed Tom Brady, according to you, in the Super Bowl? It was Nick Foles.
Carson Wentz would have did it worse.
He would.
Carson Wentz might have had about 450.
No mercy. ESPN reports that Jason Witten will officially retire and join the Monday Night Football booth. He'll retire as the Cowboys' all-time leader in catches and receiving yards, and he made 11 Pro Bowls. So, Shannon, you're a Hall of Fame tight end. How would you rate Witten's career?
Man, this is tough, Skip. This is really tough for me because I played the position, and then I want to be honest, but I don't want people to think I'm hating. So here goes. He's going to go to the Hall of Fame. He had longevity. He had tremendous stats. But let's be real. In his era, Gonzalez, Gates, Gronk, Graham. He got the begin. He was in heart smack in the middle of Gonzalez and Gates. I don't believe anybody thought that he was better than those two guys. And then here comes Gronk. So kind of we got some overlap. So by every stretch of the way, the scale you look at it, however you want to measure it, he was the fourth best tight end in his era. That's just what it is.
Yep.
He won 2 playoff games. 2. And so when you look at it, I mean, since, let's see, Witten came in the league. Since Witten has been in the league, there are 3 guys, 3 tight ends, played the very position that he plays, that has more first-team All-Pros. Gronk, Gonzalez, and Gates.
Yep.
Normally, the tight end position, no tight end has gone in on the first ballot. They know. I think myself, maybe Ditka, only like a handful of us had to, wait like 3 years. Most of the time, it's like a 10-year wait. So that's what it is. Now, does he belong? Absolutely. You want to say he's the first ballot Hall of Famer? He has the numbers, but if you look at it in the era, did he dominate his era? Did you like, man, he's better than Gates. He's better than Gonzalez. He's better than Gronk. He's better than Jimmy Graham. I don't know if you can say that, Skip, but the number says he should be in the Hall of Fame.
This is tough for me, too, because I'm obviously a fan of the Dallas Cowboys,
Yes.
and I'm a fan of Jason Witten.
Yes.
Is he not one of the all-time greatest guys that you've ever run across?
Yes.
I have not a single bad word to say about Jason Witten. And I'll throw on top of everything you just said, he's the best blocking tight end, not only of his era, but you could make a case he's the greatest blocking tight end ever because he was like another tackle for them in the run game.
Yeah, he's more Ditka Mackey than he is Kellen, Ozzie, myself.
Correct. Well said. So he's going to wind up with the second most tight end receptions of all time and the second most yards of all time. But our man, Tony Gonzalez, he ran away with those.
That, yes.
And hid.
Yes.
He's so far behind there that he could have played 3 more years and he never would have caught him.
No.
He's 5th in touchdowns among tight ends.
Right.
Pretty good. But then we get to that bottom line that you brought up. Jason played in 8 playoff games, and he won 2 and 6. Now, is he the quarterback? Is he the middle linebacker? No, he can't control all the above.
Right.
Was his team not good enough to win those games? You can argue. Shannon Sharp played in 18 playoff games and went 13-5 and won 3 Super Bowls. Played in 3 and won 3. Now, was that all? Did you get all the credit for that? Obviously, you don't. But you were there and a big part of all of the above. You also played in 4 championship games. And Jason played in no championship games. Okay? So I'm tough on the Hall of Fame. I think it's getting softer and softer on letting people into the Hall of Fame. And I know this puts you in an awkward position because you're in, and so it's just tough to comment on this. But Jason Witten would not be in my Hall of Fame. But my standards are high. Did he change the game? Was he a transcendent player? No, he was a really good. There's that Hall of Very Good that I talk about. He's definitely in the Hall of Very Good.
Yes.
He played 15 years and he missed 1 game with a broken jaw and got 3 plates inserted in his jaw and came back and played the following week. That's it. 15 years.
It's unbelievable.
That's durability, man.
Skip, I played 14 years, but I missed the equivalent of a season with injuries.
Okay.
Missed 12 games one year, missed 3 games another year, sat out a couple of games because we had nothing to play for. So I've missed about 16, 17 games throughout my career. So although it says 14 years I played, basically I played 13 years.
So, Jason Witten, if you threw it in his catch radius, he's going to catch it.
Right.
Had really solid, secure, safe hands. Very dependable. But run after catch, no. So, could he take over the game? Could he change the game with breakaway runs? Nope, not going to do that. But he did make 11 Pro Bowls, and he made 2 first-team All-Pros, which is pretty good, but it's not the best of the era. Right?
Because in his era, it just so happens it's kind of like Drew Brees. Drew Brees is going to get lost because he played the bulk of his career, Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. So basically, if you played in that era, that's what everybody's going to point to because those guys went to what? Like 12 Super Bowls between the two of them.
But Drew Brees won a Super Bowl.
He did win a Super Bowl.
So you're good. You're a made man, right?
He made, but when we talk about him, we still step over him, even though he has that one Super Bowl and 5,000-yard seasons. You look at Gates, 114 touchdowns. Gonzalez, 112 touchdowns. Gronk's going to be somewhere around over 100 if Brady plays a couple more years and he stays with Brady. He's going to be over 100. All I'm saying, Skip, is that when I played in the 90s. It was me and Ben Coates. So that was it. In the AFC, you weren't going to the Pro Bowl if Ben Coates and Shannon Sharp was healthy. Well, when you look at it, you look at his era in which he played, who other than a Cowboy fan, but if you're objective, would say that Jason Witten had a better career than Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates, or even Rob Gronkowski and where he is right now. Because playoffs should matter. Games should matter. 2-8. He's never played in the conference championship game, Skip. Never. At least Gonzo has that on his resume. Now, he only won 1. I think Gates might have won 1 or 2. But those should matter. And people are like, well, you never played with anybody. Well, somebody got him to those 11 Pro Bowls. Somebody got him those 12,000 yards.
Good point.
So you can't say, and a lot of times people, well, he didn't play with John Elway. Well, John Elway didn't throw me 14,000 worth of passes.
Okay. So I always considered Jason a clutch catcher because he made a number of clutch catches, such as in the playoff game 2014 ahead of the Dez game at Green Bay, the one against Detroit at home.
Yes.
It was a big 4th down play, and Romo found his man, Jason Witten. It was a huge play that saved, or you can argue won the game. And then the next year, 2015, the big opener against the rival Giants at Jerry World, game number 1, last-second play. Romo to Jason Witten at the goal line, catches it, falls into the end zone, touchdown, wins the game against Eli and company. It looked like, then of course Romo got hurt the rest of the year and it went down the tubes. But he made a lot of those catches, but they're not in NFC Championship games, they're not in Super Bowls. They didn't. He didn't change life with the Cowboys. He wasn't the dynamic leader that you were. He was just solid. He was a stalwart. He came to work and worked hard every day.
And the thing is, Skip, you need you can have a great career, and Michael Jordan had an unbelievable career, but he's known for that shot against Craig Elo. He's known for that walk-off. So what's the signature moment in the biggest of games? And I had, up until the AFC Championship game, Skip, I had some monster games. Had, 13 for 156 against the Raiders in a playoff game.
How do you remember 156?
Because I had went out there the week before, Skip. I needed 121 yards, Skip, to get 1,000. I had 6 for $115 at the half.
These numbers are like emblazoned.
I know, Skip, I know. But I have, and I remember talking to my brother. I was like, man, I've had some good games. I said, but I don't have a moment. And it just so happened, 3rd and 6, Pittsburgh. That's the moment. Or the play against the Raiders.
That's the moment to me.
So, sports are about moments and big moments. Jason had a fabulous career, Skip.
He did.
The numbers said he had a fabulous career. But it's just hard for me when I look at him and look at the era in which he played in, because everybody caught a bunch of, Skip, by the time it's said and done, I might be 25th on the tight end all-time reception list with the way they throw the football now.
So, bottom line, I will bet you, because the media votes on this, and he is a media favorite. Want to bet first ballot?
Oh, yeah.
And also, by the time he's eligible, 2023, he'll have been in the Monday Night Football booth for
a good hot set.
a few years. So, but they do say the greatest ability is availability, and
he
cannot argue with that.
Yeah.
No mercy. Baker Mayfield was the #1 overall pick by the Browns, but he reportedly could have gone to New England. The Athletic reports the Patriots tried to schedule a visit with Baker before the draft, but he declined because they didn't have a high pick. Josh McDaniels then told a member of Baker's camp that the Patriots were considering trading up to the #2 pick, and then Baker finally agreed to meet with them. Shannon, do you believe the Patriots were serious about trading up for Baker?
I do not. And this was I was skeptical of, Skip, because this did not fit the profile of what Coach Belichick normally does in the draft. Normally, if he has multiple picks, especially in the first round, we've seen it happen before. One year they got taken away because of Spygate. But normally what he does, he will move back to acquire more picks. He's more of a quantity guy as opposed to a quality guy. It really makes no sense when you look at it, Skip.
So you don't think they were going to do this?
No, because here's the reason why, Skip. Why would he would have basically had to give up his entire draft for a guy that's not going to help him this year or maybe not even next year. So this is what he did, he stayed pat. He got Isaiah Wynn, lineman, probably going to start. Sonny Michel, running back, versatile. Dion Lewis, probably going to start. So this is why it makes no sense. Also, Skip, do you know the compensation? Now, Washington, to get RG3, they moved from 6 to 2. They gave up 2 first-rounders and a second-round pick just to move up 4 spots. Mm-hmm. You go from 23 to go all the way up to 2. You giving up both of those first rounders, both of those second rounders, possibly
maybe another pick,
maybe even next year's second rounder. Because if they gave up, look what Carson Wentz. What did the Eagles give up to get Carson? Mm-hmm. They swapped picks, then they gave a second, a third, a fourth to move up 6 spots. Mm-hmm. So that's to move up 6 spots. Yeah. That's to move up 4 spots, and you think you're going to be able to move up 21 spots? Skip it took his entire draft. And I don't believe Coach Belichick would be willing to do that on a player that's not going to do him any good for the next year, maybe 2. So this is why I think this was a smokescreen. But I tell you what, I got a sneaky suspicion. I could be wrong. Jack Mills, and he represented a lot of some of the Broncos.
Well,
I think he's based in Colorado. Skip. Jack Mills probably going to do business again with the New England Patriots. Do you actually think he would have said this if he wasn't given the green light to say, go ahead and put this out there? How many agents you know we had something working behind? And name a team. Joy, I don't think that's me or your business, so I ain't going to say no more about it.
So what's your gut feeling? No?
No.
My gut feeling is yes. Because they asked Baker Mayfield to come to Foxborough so they could meet him up close and personal, spend a little time with him, get to know him. And he said no because I'm not going 23rd in the first round. And I don't blame him for that.
Right.
He didn't want to take another trip, a long trip up to New England, just for nothing. And they came back and said, hold the phone here because we're thinking about going to get you at 2. And if you're there at 2, we'll take you at 2. Will you come meet us now? And he said, yeah, I'll do that. So he flew to Foxborough and spent time with Belichick and company, with Josh McDaniels, maybe met Mr. Kraft. I don't know. I assume he would. And why would that be if you weren't seriously interested in trading up to 2? Well, sometimes in the old days in this league, going back to the Gil Brandt era in Dallas, there was this whole idea of bringing in quarterbacks you might have to compete against just to check them out, get into their heads a little bit, see what they're made of, so that you can better game plan against them or know their tendencies, their sort of psychological tendencies.
Right.
Would they go to that length just in case he wound up with the Jets? Maybe. Maybe. Here's why I think they were fascinated. Who sat here the day after the national semifinal and said, I'm taking that kid #1? Charlie Weiss. Charlie Weiss was the offensive coordinator for Bill Belichick when Tom Brady fell out of heaven into their laps and they won a Super Bowl, right?
Won 3 of them.
Yeah, he won 3. And I'm pretty sure they stay in touch. And I'm pretty sure Charlie Weiss told Bill Belichick at some point over the last couple of months, Bill, this kid's something now. This is the kid that old school coaches call you know this old expression, forgive me if it offends anybody, but he's full of piss and vinegar.
Yes,
have you heard that before? Because that's what Baker Mayfield, that's what they say. That kid is full of piss and vinegar.
Well, Skip, why not just go ahead and move up to
Well,
number one?
Let me finish.
Okay.
He's a fighter.
Yes.
He's an extreme competitor.
Yes.
He's extremely confident and full of himself to the point he will trash talk anybody.
Right.
And I believe Bill Belichick said that's the kind of kid who has the fortitude and the makeup to replace Tom Brady, because it's going to take a rare human being to be able to step into those shoes.
It's gonna take
and I'm not saying that Baker Mayfield can be better than Brady or even get close to being as good as Tom or great as Tom Brady's been. I'm just saying he could survive the onslaught of trying to replace him. And I think Belichick said, that's my guy. I'm going to go get him at number 2. And it would have taken a boatload.
Everything,
okay?
All his picks in this draft, and
right.
maybe a few in next year's draft.
Okay. Do I believe the war is over between Belichick and Brady?
No.
I do not. And did you hear the shots fired that we talked about yesterday from Brady back at Belichick? A little bit between the lines, but as I said yesterday, for Brady, that was like drop the mic, right?
Yes.
By his standards, that was scathing.
Right.
And he indicated he wasn't happy, he wasn't appreciated. And the war, to me, is escalating because I think he heard from his sources within the organization that they were trying to go get Baker Mayfield to once again fast-track Tom Brady out of town, where he was going. If he wants to play until his middle 40s, he's going to have to finish, in Belichick's view, someplace else. Right?
Yeah.
Okay? So he's furious at it. He's feeling less appreciated than ever. And yet, to me, Belichick is not, he's not waving any white flag here. He's still fighting back. So he would have loved the move of getting Baker Mayfield and giving up his draft, because then that gives Tom Brady no more help for next year, right?
Do you believe Cleveland would have been able, if they say, okay, we'll give you our two picks, 23 and 31, our 2 first rounders, we'll give you next year's number 1 for the right.
To go to Cleveland?
Yes, to go up to number 1.
I don't know. It seemed to come out of left field late in the process
Right.
that Cleveland was leaning Baker Mayfield.
Right.
And it's possible that the Josh Allen information, the old 16-year-old tweets, you know, when we talked about it last week, back in his high school days, it could have swung them back in Baker Mayfield's corner.
Right.
Maybe. So maybe Belichick's intel is that they're going to go Josh Allen and they're going to leave Baker Mayfield for whoever. Yeah, and so you could go to 2.
Right.
Now, were the Giants that sold? What was Gettleman's line? Saquon's been touched by God.
Yes.
Was that the line?
Something like that, yeah.
Touched by God? Or was that after you got him, or did you think that before you drafted him? I don't know. But the point is, would they have given up the shot at Saquon?
For
all that?
If you're going to give up 2 number 1s, 2 2s, absolutely. Saquon, okay, yeah, they giving him
Thanks,
up.
but no thanks.
Yeah.
I would too. That's what I would do.
But my question to you is that, do you believe there was a package that the Patriots could have put together that could have enticed the Browns to let them go to the number 1 slot?
Nope. I just think it would have taken too much. I could be wrong about it, but again, Cleveland desperately needed to score with the quarterback.
Yes.
And if they fell completely in love with Baker Mayfield, then God bless them. That's what they should have done at any price.
I would have. Because here's the thing, Skip. If you let them go to 1 and you get their 2 1s this year, their 2 2s, and maybe, let's just say they don't give you next year's number 1, they give you next year's number 2. You're still in the 4 slot. So you still got an opportunity to get a quarterback because, yeah, granted, Baker Mayfield might have been number 1 on their board, but it's hard for me to believe, because we didn't hear anything except the last week, Skip, that he was head and shoulders above everybody that was on the board at the quarterback position.
Maybe.
So you could have gotten a quarterback.
You could have gotten Josh Allen at 4 if that's who you love.
Yeah, but just think, now you got 23, you got 31, and they had 2 number 2s also. So now you got 4 2s, 3 1s, 4 2s, and maybe next year's 2.
Maybe we'll hear something eventually from the Giants side,
right,
that this package was on the table hinging on who Cleveland took number 1. Like the package to the Giants from the Patriots was on the table.
So the Giants going to leak information that, there was a deal in place for the Patriots to move up, and it seems like they were going to go move up to get Baker Mayfield. Tom Brady gonna walk in Coach Belichick office and say, yeah. Can't believe you would do something like
I don't
that.
think Tom Brady has that in him.
Oh, yeah. You see how he be dropping them F-bombs? Tom, that's Psycho T. You told me he's psycho.
Yep.
He might go crazy on it. Okay, maybe we'd hit him with
Yeah.
hit him in the gut or something.
Maybe. I don't know. I just feel in my heart of hearts that this was a possibility, again, depending upon Cleveland.
Right.
And Cleveland went Baker Mayfield, and now it's all history. But I think Tom Brady knows it was a distinct possibility.
At some point in time, Tom's going to have to draw a line in the sand.
Yep.
Coach Belichick keep drawing his line.
He does.
And he getting closer and closer to Tom. At some point in time, Tom Brady say, I ain't backing up anymore. I ain't backing up.
Can you imagine Baker Mayfield sitting behind Tom Brady? Baker is the kind of kid who would trash talk Tom Brady. He would. He would start verbally going at Tom Brady. Trust me, that's what he's made of.
Like, oh, yeah. Oh, you think you don't
think
want to
you're
make
that
that
good?
throw?
Yeah.
Oh, watch this.
Watch this.
Yeah. Oh, he'll be competing against Tom in practice.
Yeah.
We'll never know.
Ooh, that would have been something.
Wouldn't have been amazing?
Drama.
No mercy.
According to Jason Lockenfora of CBS Sports, Lamar Jackson will be on the field for the Ravens Week 1. Jackson will reportedly have packages created for him and could be on the field for just a few plays or a dozen plays. Baltimore traded up to the final pick of the first round for Jackson, but John Harbaugh said Joe Flacco is still the starter. Lockenfora also says the drafting of Jackson means that Flacco will not be back with the Ravens in 2019. Blake Freeney is still with us, but for Shannon, is it a good idea to play Lamar Jackson immediately?
Why not? I believe he has a unique skill set, and the coaches that are there have worked with players with unique skill sets. Colin Kaepernick, Greg Roman was the offensive coordinator. They work with Donovan McNabb. Michael Vick, yes. So this guy has a unique skill set. You need someone with imagination that's going to give him an opportunity. Plus, have anybody looked at the Ravens offense over the last 3 or 4 years? Last year, they were 27th in total offense, 29th in passing offense. What could he hurt? There's only 3 teams worse than they were in the passing game. So why not put him on the field, put him in a situation where he has success? And I believe that's what they'll do, Skip. They'll look what he had success at the University of Louisville. Okay, this is what he can do really well. And let's see what he can do, because they didn't draft him to sit on the bench for the next 5-6 years. I believe, as Jason Lockenfora said, and I know Jason quite well, I believe they're going to move on from Joe Flacco, Skip. If they release him after this year, they'll say $18.5 million.
They will.
You tell me the way that Joe Flacco has performed since he's got this big contract would warrant that kind of pay? I don't think so. So I'm glad, because a lot of times you waste time. Well, we're going to hold him. Hold him back for what? If the guy can play, can help you win, put his butt on the field.
Your thoughts?
Well, I think I'm split, to be honest with you. I think that, their offense needs a guy like that to go out and spark something.
Right.
That the offense is pretty much dead. But on the other side, he's a rookie, okay? I'm sure he has to learn coverages. He has a lot of things he has to learn to be successful.
Right.
He doesn't have that many weapons around him. All right, so if you don't have any weapons and you don't really know coverages and maybe your offensive line is bad, that means you're not going to have a good year. Okay, regardless. Now, you might get experience,
right,
but you're going to be baptized by fire,
right.
All right? And it might actually hurt you. You might be a little bit, get hurt, run, something bad can happen from being in that situation. So I feel like this. Start Flacco. Have him learn under him, okay? Absorb as much as you can. Now, if Joe is playing bad,
I believe they'll start Flacco.
If he's playing bad, then you can put the rookie in and say, all right, let's see what happens. Let's change this thing up. But I don't think you start in the beginning putting him out there when you have a guy like Joe who has all that experience that he can learn from.
Are you suggesting he play quarterback or play utility back?
No, I think
I don't know which way you're going with this.
I think they'll use him in a situation. Maybe they use him like how the Steelers did Cordell Stewart.
That's my whole case here, okay? I don't love that for Lamar.
Okay.
Because there was somebody out there whose name was not printed, but who said we want him to play receiver, right?
Right.
Period. End of story.
Right.
So I don't want to see them cubbyhole him as some sort of slash player,
right,
like Cordell, who's a friend of mine,
right,
1995 for your Pittsburgh Steelers. Neil O'Donnell is the quarterback. They made it all the way to Super Bowl with slash because Cordell was happy as a late second-round pick to say, okay, so during the regular season, he threw 7 passes. He ran it 15 times, and he caught 14 balls. So they used him in the slot. They put him in motion. They did slot reverses to him. They did all kinds of little slash things, creative little ways to get the ball in his hands, while Neil O'Donnell was always on the field.
Right.
So I don't know which way you're going here. Are you talking about subbing him in for Joe Flacco?
Yeah,
on occasion?
I think you have a couple of series, Skip, where you let him, he's the quarterback, and you put him in a situation where he can be successful, which is a spread offense. Skip, they struggle moving the football.
Boy, it's hard to practice that. Now you're running two totally different attacks, because Flacco is nothing like Lamar or vice versa. Nothing like.
And
they are the flip sides of each other.
And I'm looking at Joe Flacco over the last 4 years.
I totally agree with you. I call him Joe Fluco. I'm not a fan. I wasn't, but I can't argue with the postseason, because it is extraordinary what he did.
Yeah, they say, well, okay, if we were to get to the postseason,
you gotta get
I want Joe Flacco.
I know.
But in the meantime, we're not getting to the postseason, and we're getting exposed.
So how would you like to be Joe Flacco going into this coming year, when at best you're a lame duck, one more year starter, right?
Yeah.
You're just keeping it warm for the kid until he gets a feel for it. Well, to me, you should fish or cut bait. I'm back to that age-old expression: if you have two quarterbacks, you have none. And if you're going to mix and match them, if you're going to try, as we go back to Coach Landry once upon a time, tried to alternate Roger Staubach and Craig Morton. Like every other play, you're the play messenger to run in. I'm going to tell you the play that you get to run in and run. It will not work. It's a single quarterback offense where you know this. You have to have a guy who's in control, who gets into the rhythm of the game, and it just won't. You have to go one way or the other, and I don't personally want to see Lamar used as a slash player. That's just me.
Well, there's a good chance, Skip, if this thing doesn't go well early on, Lamar Jackson could be the eventual starter. Because
this coming year.
season,
I agree with that.
Because I don't believe they're going to go through what they went through last year with Joe Flacco. Obviously, they didn't have a whole lot of confidence in Ryan Mallett. That's why they were kicking the tires they kicked the tires on Colin Kaepernick.
They did.
I believe if Joe Flacco were to struggle like he struggled last year, they would have no choice but to put Lamar Jackson in. And because they've had some of the, and maybe, Skip, maybe they don't run these packages in the game, but I can assure you in training camp, they're going to get Lamar Jackson in a package of plays, and they're going to expand from there. So if Joe Flacco is struggling in the regular season, Lamar Jackson is coming in.
Okay. So I hark back to that year under Harbaugh in San Francisco when Colin Kaepernick was handed the reins mid-season from Alex Smith, and they took off and should have won the Super Bowl to me, but they got to the Super Bowl. But Colin had been in the system for a couple of years?
Yeah, he was a second-year quarterback.
Yeah, so at least he had some baptism, not by fire, just by osmosis, just being around. And this, to your point, we both agree, Lamar's got some learning to do about, even though he played in a pro-style offense under Petrino, who's a very demanding pro-style coach, it's going to take him a little while. So this is going to be very interesting to see how quickly, the pressure on Flacco's got to be extraordinary.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is, like I said, this guy here, he's going to run the ball and he's going to scramble around.
Right.
The thing is this is not college. You're not going against guys who are 18, 19, your age. You're getting hit by people who are twice as strong, twice as big. You have all that concussion stuff. I don't know too many quarterbacks who run the ball and scramble and who have not gotten hurt in this league. So that's another risk.
Would you have liked to have played against a rookie Lamar Jackson? Would you feast on that?
I personally love the quarterback who loves to hold on to the ball, okay? The longer you hold on to the ball is the more opportunity I have to get you, all right? The guy who I can't stand is the guy who gets rid of the ball and doesn't want to get touched.
Tom Brady?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, that guy annoys me, you know what I mean? Because I keep beating my guy, and when I think I have the sack, then ball's gone. And then when I think he's going to throw the ball, guess what? He holds on to it.
How often did a running quarterback frustrate you?
Well, it doesn't frustrate me too much, because the fact of the matter is I had an opportunity. And that's as a D lineman, as a guy who gets after the quarterback, that's all you want.
Right.
Just give me the opportunity to get to the quarterback. So if he's going to hold on to the ball, trust me and Mathis, we're going to craft up something where we're going to get him down. So.
And the thing is, if you look at through history, Skip, the more mobile the quarterback is, the higher his sack percentage is. Look at Randall Cunningham. Look at Mike Vick.
Look at
RG3. Look at Cam Newton.
That's true.
All these guys, even Steve Young, all the guys, you're like, well, how are they getting sacked so much? Because while he can get away from something on one side, he runs himself into trouble on the backside.
Yes.
So
exactly, and that's his default. As a default button for quarterbacks who are athletic, they're going to run for their success. Now, other quarterbacks, they say, okay, I can't run, I'm going to throw the ball away. And that actually helps them out and helps the team out, I think, a little bit more than that guy who wants to scramble and run, unless you're like, Newton, where, all of a sudden you run for 30, 40 yards running guys over. And there's not too many guys like that.
Yeah. We got to leave it there. Dwight, thanks so much for joining us.
No mercy.
The Steelers drafted former Oklahoma State quarterback Mason Rudolph in the 3rd round, but Ben Roethlisberger is still the starter. Rudolph was asked if Ben will mentor him and said, quote, "It's not Ben's job to teach me anything, it's my job to learn." Roethlisberger was then asked when he may turn the team over to Rudolph and said, "He can take over someday, but I plan on playing for 3 to 5 more years. If he's going to be their guy, that's great, but in my perfect world, it's not going to be for a while." We're joined by Fox NFL analyst Greg Jennings. Welcome, Greg. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
But first, Shannon, what do you make of these comments by Ben?
Ben loves to stir up drama, and he keeps some bull jive going. He's starting to sound more and more like Brett Favre, because this is what he said in January of 2017 after they lost the AFC Championship game to the New England Patriots. He said, "I'm going to take the offseason to evaluate, to consider all options, to consider my health, my family, and things like that, and just kind of take some time away, evaluate next season, if there's going to be a next season." That's what he said in January of 2017 after the loss. Now, this year he was a little bit more committal, says, "I would like to play another 3 years, but I'm not going to look past 1 year." They draft a quarterback in the 3rd round, and all of a sudden, now I want to play 3-5 more years, Skip. Whoa. That's not what you've been saying. You said, you didn't know if you were going to come back. You didn't know what you were going to do. It's amazing how all of a sudden, because Landry Jones is no threat. Josh Dodson from Tennessee is no threat. I might kick back. I might come back, might not, Joe. I might go fishing. I got these 3 boys I got to raise. I need to be a dad. I need to go to some football games and all that. They go get a quarterback. They're like, okay. Because we getting tired of you every year. You talking about you don't know if you're going to come back.
Yeah.
1 year you're going to say you're not coming back, and you're going to be absolutely right, because the door going to be closed on you. So, Ben, stop with the drama. If it's not your retirement, it's an injury that never got reported. They said Ben was a big old drama queen, and I ain't want to believe it. Man, you talk about LeBron's drama. He ain't got nothing on Big Ben. Big Ben, way more drama.
I don't.
Way more drama.
You went a little far there. I was with you up to that point.
When LeBron says, "You know what, guys, I don't know if I'm going to play next year. I'm going to evaluate it after next year." Yeah, then we start talking.
Look, this is the only quarterback in the league that is one of the elite quarterbacks that constantly talks about retiring. The only one. And now all of a sudden, I can play until my early 40s. Well, number one, I'm going to touch that. Ben Roethlisberger, out of all the quarterbacks in the NFL, is the least likely to play until his early 40s because of his style of play. His style of play won't afford him the opportunity to even play that long, because he's constantly getting hit. He extends the play a little too long at his age. And don't get me wrong, he's a great quarterback, but his style of play will prohibit that. Now, when it comes to Mason Rudolph being drafted, I'm with you, Shannon. Don't let somebody being drafted fuel you. You should already be driven. You should already be committed to us. Regardless of who we pick up in the draft, let me know that you're in. My issue with Ben Roethlisberger is he's constantly a roller coaster. And we talk about what a quarterback should be and how they should act on and off the field and how they should present themselves. Some of the things that Ben Roethlisberger says and the way that he carries himself, I question it. Like, how can you constantly, every single week, follow this guy? Again, he's a great quarterback, but he's too inconsistent. Last year, first they played the Jags, and I don't know if I got it anymore.
Maybe I don't have it anymore.
Maybe I don't have
Okay, we coming at you, Skip. You remember the national anthem? Oh, we coming at United. Well, I ain't want to do that.
Exactly. Nobody needed to know that.
I wanted to run a play, and I wanted to clock it. Well, the coaches told me not to clock it.
What was that about?
It's always, like
it's never
said,
his
Greg,
fault.
Of all the quarterbacks and the elite, these Rodgers and Brady's and the Breezes and him, he's the one that keeps this foolishness going. He keeps the bull jive going.
And by the way, he's the one who threw the interception that ended the New England at Pittsburgh game.
Exactly. But it was the play before those, Skip, because he wanted to clock it.
I got it. So my first point is I watched Mason Rudolph a whole lot at Oklahoma State, and he's pretty good. I'll give him pretty good. Joe Klatt and I said that he was a dark horse Heisman candidate last year, and he kind of crept along the edge of the race all year, and he had a good year. He had 37 touchdowns to only 9 interceptions. But if the Pittsburgh Steelers really love Mason Rudolph, would they have waited until the third round? Now, they traded up 3 spots to get him in the third round, but do you realize they took his receiver at Oklahoma State in the second round? Well, if they loved him, if they thought he was the near future, don't you think they would have taken him in the second round, or dare I say, the first round? Because they took Terrell Edmonds in the first round. I'm like, and everybody said that was a reach. That was too high for him. So why don't you take the quarterback? If you love him, if Ben Roethlisberger should be threatened by him, then at least he would have been the second-round pick as opposed to James Washington. And I love James Washington. As we talked about, he's got this weird, subtle gear of deep speed that doesn't time well. He just gets by people. He runs by people, and trust me, they gave Ben a new toy. That's going to be again, they traded Martavis, but you don't think with Juju on top of Antonio and my God, they got weapons everywhere.
Great job.
He's got an array, man. So it's a good place to be, but he is showing more and more a lack of leadership. And maybe that's why in the end he keeps losing to Tom Brady, dare I say? Because they just can't beat Tom Brady, right? So now he's going Tom Brady by saying, I'm going to play 5 more years, right?
Everybody. Once Tom started saying,
everybody,
I'm going to play until my 40. Everybody.
Drew Brees, I'm going to play.
Yeah. Quarterback in his first year, I think I'm going to play until I'm 43. Dude, you just got in the league.
Yeah.
Maybe he can get Alex Guerrero to get
he
inside
needs Alex Guerrero.
the facility.
And by the way, I'm going to bring this up one last time because it applies to everything you just said about the punishment he takes. But as Joy well knows, once upon a time, a long time ago in Pittsburgh, he had a motorcycle wreck with no helmet on in which he went over the hood of the car. And I don't know how he walked or limped away from that.
Right.
But I'm still here believing it took 2 years off his NFL career because he had multiple internal injuries.
And the style of play is going to take some more years off him.
Yeah.
Because you can't hold on to the ball that long and give the defense extra shots at you. The really good ones, Rodgers can play that long. I mean, not Rodgers, but Brady, because Brady gets rid of the football. He's not extending the play. He's not going to have people hanging on him.
He's the polar opposite of what this guy does, right?
When I read this and it says he was asked when he would turn over the team to Mason, it's like he took the bait.
Yeah,
he did.
To your point, he was drafted in the 3rd round. Obviously,
that's a
if they
question
really
you shrug off.
exactly. A great quarterback, one who understands and has been through the ringer when it comes to being questioned and asked different questions, would say, I'm not concerned about that. I'm focused on me. It's the off season. He wouldn't even have addressed it.
He's not beating me out. Why am I worried about it?
Exactly.
I got 16 years of experience doing this. Won Super Bowls, been many times a Pro Bowl player, and I'm worried about a 3rd-round pick. They got to learn the offense that I already know.
Yeah.
But this is Ben. Ben keeps some bull job going.
Yeah, he does. But do I think Mason Rudolph could eventually replace him? I'm not even sure of that. I'm not sure he's that big a threat. And I liked Landry Jones when he played at Oklahoma, but he was no Big Ben.
What are they going to do with Josh, the one from the guy from Tennessee?
I don't know.
They keeping 4 quarterbacks?
I don't
No.
know. No threat.
Maybe Ben is out. No, I'm just
Well, you are absolutely right, though. He's not going to. Brady's inspired everybody.
He has.
Although you're right, maybe the Steelers will let Alex come down.
No, Brady vetoed that.
Yeah.
But Jimmy Garoppolo tried to get treatment for his shoulder.
And he wouldn't let Alex?
Did he?
Yeah.
He locked the door on him?
Yeah, look at Skip. Look at him laughing. Look at him laughing. You proud of that,
That
too,
is so petty.
Yeah, it is. He petty like
Why are
that.
you keeping him from getting extra work?
Why would he do that, Skip?
If you're not on my side, you can't have what I got.
The man shoulder bum.
Alex Guerrero's got his hands full. He's got Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski,
Yeah.
and that's enough.
The man had a shoulder. That's a teammate. I mean, if I got a dog, my guy good, and Greg got an ankle injury, we play the same position. I ain't gonna be like,
Seems like Tom Brady's petty like that. Greg, thanks for joining us.
Skip
Does
over the
LeBron finally have enough help to win the East? We'll discuss that next.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. Join us again at 9:30 a.m. Eastern on Monday for another full week of Undisputed. We'll see you then.
Bye. one, of one, of one.